That has been... Hello everyone and welcome back to Storytime, the show where we share stories, hence the name. I am Andrew, he is Sonny, and let's get into some stories. You've got a story for us about something that happened to you at work, right?
Yeah, so if you guys haven't been following the channel for a while, or even our previous channel, mostly though our story times consist of this one, but if you followed any of our old videos in our old channel, I have revealed at least in one, if not two of our videos, that during the fall season in Haunted House, I am a haunted house actor, and I love that job. I personally do. I really do. And probably the cover art for this video will show you what my character is after some recoloring that Andrew here did for me.
It's horrifying.
It's horrifying, but it looks great, and it makes me smile every time.
It's the last thing you see before you die.
We were at full height in our haunted house. We were bigger than ever this year. We had a larger staff. We had great actors and acting all throughout the year. And basically, it was shaping out to be our greatest season that we've ever had. Well, you know how you can't control some of the things that happen to you, whether you get sick or a family member might die or something, and you have no control over that. Well, before the haunted house, lets you come out and audition or you get hired, you have to go and fill out paperwork, and they ask you, can you be here all season long? And me, being the way that I am, I told them, yeah, I can be here every night that you guys need me to be here. Well, unfortunately, one weekend I got very, very sick to a point where I couldn't get out of bed.
Jeez, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, I just felt like absolute crap all day, and I couldn't do anything. So, of course, once I could, I made the call to my bosses saying, hey, I'm severely sick. I can't make it out. And they said, okay, that's fine. You start feeling better. And of course, I started feeling better later on that week, and I was back the next weekend. Well, unfortunately, another weekend, as again, in previous videos I've mentioned, I'm also a diabetic. I'm a type 1 diabetic, if you guys haven't been keeping up. And normally my blood sugar, I can keep it in fairly good ranges, but this particular day, it was running severely high to a point where if I didn't take care of it in time or get it lowered, I might have been in the hospital.
Ambulance time for you.
Yeah. And that's something you want to avoid, like every human does.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, per again, I called out. I was saying, I'm having a medical emergency. I cannot come out. And they said, okay, well, again, get to feeling better. And I said, I will. And I was back next weekend. But every single night I was there, I gave it the best performance that I had ever had. I was giving it 110% every night.
Nice.
Basically to the point where once the first night was done, my voice was destroyed.
Yeah.
And after one weekend, I'd had to get really close to the mic to do it, but it was so bad that it sounded like I was whispering the whole time, and that was my basic volume.
Oh man, that's horrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've just noticed I've been recording with open broadcasting software without any need to do that whatsoever, because we're not recording a game. I just see that stop recording. I'm like, how long have we been recording? Like 15 minutes down there, so that's what I did. So yeah, your voice was done for. It had enough. Yeah. So you were like whispering.
Yeah.
Sounded like Vito Corleone from The Godfather.
Yeah.
What have I ever done for you to treat me so disrespectfully?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, at the end of the year, last night, we have what is called our Best of the Actors per the Night and of the Year award. And I had tons of my colleagues, my supervisors, not my head bosses, but my supervisors, almost every weekend come out and tell me, hey, you did great, your acting's awesome, you really scared a lot of people, we love what you're doing, we love that you're improvising, and we love that you've trained other people too, because I actually teamed up with one of my longtime friends out there who has never acted before in his life. I gave him a few tips and pointers, and after that, him and I were a tag team together, and we scared a bunch of people this year, so I felt really proud to be a teacher for that. But, so our supervisors come down and they're telling us that it's time for the Best Haunter of the Year award, and I was obviously going to be in the running, and as was everybody else in our attraction. I thought I was a shoo-in to win it, until my supervisor right before the meeting began told us, I don't want you to get mad, and this isn't per us, it's per the head bosses, but because you missed 2 nights out of the year when you promised us you could be here, you are eliminated from the running of being Actor of the Year.
That sucks.
Yeah, and it was all because of stuff I can't control. I can't control when I get sick or when my blood sugar goes insanely high.
That's madness.
Yeah, so I felt kind of robbed, and especially because another one of our guys, we had 3 people chose as Actor of the Years, and one of them, as much as I love the guy, he's a really good actor, but he got it, and he wasn't even there every single weekend. Jeez. I'm pretty sure he did a no-call, no-show one night, and he still got it. So it's like, okay, so how does he get it, but I don't?
It's like at my taekwondo tournaments when the other kid that actually took first place dropped his weapon like 4 times, and I dropped mine no times at all.
Right.
I still lost, yeah.
Right.
It's like that.
Yeah. So, I don't know, but
disgusting.
It's just kind of bugs me, and but you know what? I'm just gonna come back stronger than ever. I'm just gonna take this lesson and come back stronger than ever.
I admire that determination. I'd have been out of there. That'd have been my last day there if I'd have found that out.
Yeah.
I'd have been ranting and, well, probably not to their faces. Yeah. I probably wouldn't have come back. So
yeah.
I really admire and respect that attitude. Like, well, I'm just gonna, turn this into drive to make me do even better this year. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, good for you. Love that. Well, that's your sad story.
Yep, that's my sad story.
Good grief. Mine is slightly less sad. It's more kind of on a edge of your seat kind of story. I'll go ahead and move this so you can put that in a more advantageous place. I have a car. I didn't used to, and you've probably heard me talk about it before. I think. It's been in the family. It's a 1998 Honda Accord. Really nice. My family actually had a blue Honda Accord, 2000 Honda Accord, for about 10 years actually, almost. I don't know for sure, but anyway, it was a really great car. Loved it for the longest time. The only maintenance it ever needed was wear and tear, so we were glad to get basically just a 2-year older model of the same car. Which became mine, and it's been in the family for a while, like I said, and it's still mine. It's great. I love the car, but a while back, something was happening with the brakes where I'd have to depress the brake pedal all the way down to the floor, and it still would barely stop anything.
Oh wow.
Now, I didn't have the good luxury or the good fortune of discovering this in a secure, secluded, empty parking lot where I had all kinds of control. No, this was after I had taken a sort of an entry test for my college, which basically told them and me as a student where I need to, or what I need to do really, what classes I need to take, and what I've placed into for my gen eds. So I'd just taken that test, or maybe it was the final portion of my GED, I can't remember. But either way, I was on my way home, and just for some context as well, because I'm kind of filling in gaps here, that campus is actually on the other side of town from where we live. It's about a 30-minute drive. So about, 20% of the way back home, my brakes started doing that. I'd have to press the brake pedal all the way to the floor to get it to barely do something and barely start to stop my car. It was horrifying. And I actually drove the car all the way home like that in 3 o'clock traffic. It was so dangerous, but I did everything I could. I took shortcuts. I intentionally picked out roads that were uphill so I wouldn't have to do much. So I got home, and my car had this really weird smell to it. Had some trouble getting it parked, so we called the tow truck to get it taken into the shop. They got it all fixed up. I can't remember what it was even. I think it was the master cylinder, I want to say. I don't know. Something like that. Something big and bad like that. Or maybe we thought it would be and it wasn't. I can't remember. So we got it fixed, but then about 6 months later, this time on my way back to that same campus, which apparently is cursed for some reason, it started doing it again. I'd have to put it all the way to the floor, and it just barely started stopping the car. So that was a bad thing itself. But about halfway there, I realized what the problem was. I was driving with the parking brake up. Now, you're a car guy. You might know what that does.
Yes, I know what that does.
We called the mechanic and we said, "Oh, by the way, I had actually been driving with the parking brake up." And he says, "Oh, well, that causes the brake fluid to boil." And I'm like, "Oh gosh, yeah, that'll do it." So I'm lucky I didn't do any damage. However, that wasn't the problem the first time.
Right.
So I was right in, noticing that something was wrong with my car the first time.
Right.
I'd been driving with the parking brake up, and that was boiling the brake fluid, and that's what was causing my problems the second time around.
Right.
Once again, it was still messed up the first time. The second time was all my fault. So, I actually drove all the way to campus, or I guess most of the way to campus, with that parking brake up. And even though I put it back down when I noticed that, the aftermath of that was still there, and it was still driving as if I had no brakes.
Yeah.
So I actually made it to the campus on time for class and with no brakes. So, but it wasn't until we'd taken it into the shop that I remembered, oh wait, I was driving with the parking brake up. I should have mentioned that. So we actually called them over the phone. That's when they told us, that causes the brake fluid to boil. So that's probably what it was, and almost certainly what it was. So haven't done that since, as you can imagine.
Been more careful then.
Yeah. Nevertheless, I have even scarier car stories to tell you in future episodes of Storytime. And before I forget, I'm going to actually add those to the list because they involve times where I actually could have very easily lost my car or had it stolen. So, very scary stories there. So, that has been... So, thank you so much for watching this episode of Storytime. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you sleep well tonight after these stories. So, mainly mine, with me driving without brakes, pretty much. But yeah, you were robbed, man.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah, but it really did.
Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Storytime. Stay tuned for future episodes in the future. We got quite a few interesting stories coming up, actually. I've got a list of now 3 different stories that I could tell, and they're all pretty interesting in their own way.
I might just do what you do and make a list.
Yeah, it helps me stay organized as long as I keep adding stuff as I experience them. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm living those moments, I think, oh, this would be a good story time episode. I'll add that to the. Mm-hmm. That's what I did in the parking lot after my car broke down the first time, and I was waiting for the tow truck. But anyway,
let me just write this down.
This will be a good story time, yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode of Storytime, and I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please drop a great big honkin' like for us down. Where it's down there, you can
somewhere
find
down
it
there,
if you
wherever
just
it
look.
is.
Yeah, it's down. I think it's this way, right?
Somewhere
down. Yeah,
it's either over there or up there.
It's not up there.
I'm making a reference.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It's south.
If you get the reference, please tell Andrew what it is down in the comments.
Yeah. Because he's not going to. He's just going to let it bother me. So.
The sad part is he's right.
Leave a huge like for us if you did enjoy this episode of Storytime, in spite of how much Sonny got robbed. And don't forget to stay tuned by clicking subscribe and turning the notification bell on, thingy-do-whopper, so you can be notified when we upload the next of our videos, whether it be Storytime or anything else. Also, if you do have a favorite key moment from this episode of Storytime, please let us know what it is down in the comments section below, or what all your favorite parts are. And we will see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.